Gene Simmons' assistant for a year and a half. Gene and I have known one another a long time. We practiced law together, and I was his assistant for a while. I have a different view of how the prosecutor's office should be run than Gene's. I have a stronger influence or emphasis on jury trials. I believe that the prosecutor should try many more jury trials. It puts the determination of cases in the hands of the people. It does away with significant plea bargaining. Plea bargaining is necessary. However, when I was Gene's assistant, during the year and a half I was there, of all the plea bargains, there was only one plea bargain that I agreed to where I allowed a person charged with a felony to plead to a misdemeanor. That was a young man who was caught growing marijuana, and he was from out of state. He had significant mental issues, and part of that plea bargain was that he leave the state, and that his father agree to get him counseling and inpatient treatment for his problems. I do believe in a stronger relationship between the police and the prosecutor's office. As you may or may not know, I've worked with the police. I've taught their in-service. I believe that when you have a strong relationship between the prosecutor and the police department, police departments, law enforcement in general, and that they work together, and you go to the grand jury, you return your indictments, you give the defendant the option of pleading straight up to the indictment or go to trial. And I think that system works best, and I think it will work as well as it did during the year and a half I was in the prosecutor's office.
Okay, Mr. Simmons.
Same question?
Same question. Why are you running to be county prosecutor?
Well, actually, the reason I'm running is because we started a program. 4 years ago, as you're aware, the prosecutor's office was kind of in shambles, and not criticizing anybody, but it just wasn't there. And I really actually didn't run. If you'll recall that Bob and Martin Saffer ran and weren't able to beat the incumbent, and so they talked me into coming back and running again. And we took over with a little different attitude. I agree, trials are great, but sometimes you got to have a little bit of ability to negotiate a lot of these cases. The reason we don't try as many cases now, I guess, that we used to, is we have what is known as drug court. And maybe that's one of the questions you're going to ask later on, but drug court we feel is something that what we do in drug court, we take a plea from the individual, and they plead straight up. And then if they qualify, and the prosecutor has the key to drug court, I get to make the determination as to who's going to go into drug court and who isn't. And if we think there's a good candidate and they meet with all the criteria that's required of drug court, then we have an opportunity to put a carrot in front of them to the extent that they're able to get out of the felony if they can complete about a year and a half of drug court. And we've been here in Pocahontas County and all over the state have been extremely successful in drug court to the extent that we're able to at least pull some people out of the depths that they get into as a result of being stuck on drugs. And that, as everyone knows, is a big problem in or anywhere else in the state of West Virginia. But in Pocahontas County, it's a real problem, drug court is. And we think that is one of the criteria that we use to solve the lives of some people.